Hare Krishna. One thing I wanted to say about chanting the Maha Mantra, because I travel many places. Recently I had a tour all South America, Argentina, Peru, Uruguay, Chile, and everywhere I hear devotees chanting Hare Ramo. And this is not correct. The mantra is Rama, not Ramo. Once Vishnu Jan Swami, you know Vishnu Jan Swami, one big kirtan leader in the movement, and Prabhupada liked his chanting very much. But once he was chanting in front of Prabhupada, and he was chanting Hare Rama, but then he changed to Hare Rama. Prabhupada stopped the kirtan. And he asked him, who's this Ramo? You are spoiling the movement. The correct pronunciation is Rama. Not Ram either. Not Ram, not Ramo. It's Rama. Rama. The first A is longer. Anyway, this is a Bengali thing, you know. If you are not Bengali, you have no good excuse to chant Ramo. But still, Prabhupada was Bengali, he never chanted Ramo. If you hear old recording, Prabhupada chanting Maha Mantra, he never chanted Ramo, he always chanted Rama. Isn't? So we should follow his example. So anybody play Mridanga? Well, play the basic, whatever you know. Oh, thank you. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. See? Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Vasadi Gaura. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This one doesn't go. Careful, this one doesn't go. Okay. All right. Very good. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. Very nice of you. Okay. Let us read from 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge, text 6. Yatakasha stito nityam vayu sarvatra go maham tata sarvani bhutani matstani tyupadaraya. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. Purport. For the ordinary person, it is almost inconceivable how the huge material creation is resting in him. But the Lord is giving an example which may help us to understand. The sky may be the biggest manifestation we can conceive. And in that sky, the wind or air is the biggest manifestation, the air is the biggest manifestation in the cosmic world. The movement of the air influences the movements of everything. But although the wind is great, it is still situated within the sky. The wind is not beyond the sky. Similarly, all the wonderful cosmic manifestations are existing by the supreme will of God, and all of them are subordinate to that supreme will. As we generally say, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, everything is moving under His will. By His will, everything is being created, everything is being maintained, and everything is being annihilated. Still, He is aloof from everything, as the sky is always aloof from the activities of the wind. In the Upanishads, it is stated, Yad Bishava Tapavate. It is out of the fear of the Supreme Lord that the wind is blowing. In the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, it is stated, Itasyava Aksharasya Prashasane Gargi Surya Chandramaso Vidritau Tishtata Etasyava Aksharasya Prashasane Gargi Dhyau Apritivyau Vidritau Tishtataha. By the supreme order, under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the moon, the sun, and the other great planets are moving. In the Brahma Samhita, also it is stated, Yachakshuresha Savita Sakalagrahanam Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Teja Yasyagyaya Brahmati Sambritakala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This is a description of the movement of the sun. It is said that the sun is considered to be one of the eyes of the Supreme Lord, and that it has immense potency to diffuse heat and light. Still, it is moving in its prescribed orbit by the order and the supreme will of Govinda. So from the Vedic literature we can find evidence that this material manifestation, which appears to us to be very wonderful and great, is under the complete control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This will be further explained in the later verses of this chapter. Let me read the verse again. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. Beautiful verse, Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is revealing His supremacy over everything that exists. But the miscreants, they can't understand. They criticize Krishna. Avajanantum mudhamanushim tanumashritam parambhavajanantum avabhuta maheshwaram. Krishna said, fools derides me when I appear in human form. They think I am one of them. Because they don't know my supremacy and over everything that exists and my transcendental position. Although Krishna comes to this material world, he is not under the laws of material nature. He is always above them. Like the sky. The sky is huge, and the wind is moving the sky. But the sky is aloof, is not affected by the wind. All other things are affected by the wind. The airplanes, they move because wind is there. If they stop moving and they fall down. They have to move with the wind. Using, of course, the machine and everything. But without the wind, nothing can function. Even the body moves with wind inside the body, digestion, eyesight, everything. So Krishna is saying the same way that in this universe that the mighty wind, although very powerful and blows everywhere, rests always in the sky. If you go outside the Earth planet, there is no air. Astronauts, they have to put some suit that they can breathe the air from the Earth planet. They have to bring the Earth planet with them outside. So, in the same way, all living entities are resting on Krishna. Because he's Paramatma, he's in the heart of everyone. And unless he gives guidance, nothing happens. Unless he gives intelligence, knowledge, nobody can do anything. You know the saying, not even a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord. And do you know from where that saying comes? This comes from the Puranas. One story is there in the Puranas. That once the Devatas, demigods, they had a war against the Asuras. And Lord Vishnu helped them, and they defeated the Asuras. But the Devatas became very proud. Oh, we are very powerful, we are very strong. We defeated all the Asuras. So, Lord Vishnu wanted to give them a lesson in humility. So, seeing them proud, he took a blade of grass in his fingers and he told the Devatas, he told Agni, can you burn this blade of grass? Oh, that's very easy. And Agni blew all the fire, powerful fire, and that didn't even change color. So he told Indra, you have such powerful weapon, thunderbolt, Vajra. Can you cut in half this blade of grass? Oh, that's very easy. He threw the thunderbolt and the Vajra broke in half. So he told Vayu, the wind god, can you make it move this blade of grass? Oh, that's very easy. He blew so much power, the blade of grass didn't move an inch. So all demigods realized that without the mercy of the Lord, we are nothing. So they surrendered, they asked forgiveness for their pride. So we should always remember that. And Srila Prabhupada's Guru, Srila Bhakti Sundar Goswami Thakur, always, when he makes some plan, he always said, if Krishna so desires, man proposes, God disposes. No. We can't demand from God, we have to. If He is willing to. We can pray, but we have to know how to pray, what to ask for. Most people, if they are pious, they approach God when they are in trouble. They have difficulty, they ask for God's help. But generally speaking, people ask only for material things. Everything material is temporary. So why to bother God with things already there? Prabhupada told us in a morning walk in South America, Venezuela, he told us, these birds, they are not praying to God for food, and they are getting food every day. Because one lawyer, he came to the walk, he asked Prabhupada, what about hunger in the world? Why is there is problem, food shortage? And Prabhupada said, the only thing lacking in this world is Krishna consciousness. People are misusing God's gifts because too greedy. You see this bird, we looked, there was one bird eating a fruit on the tree. Prabhupada says, see, Krishna is feeding this bird. He's feeding everyone. Even the elephants in the jungle, they eat a lot. They are not waiting for the government trucks to eat. Who's maintaining? Who's giving? So Krishna is sustaining all of us, all living entities, because without His mercy, no sun, no rain, and therefore no food. You need to breathe. You need the sun. And Krishna said, the sun is one of my eyes. Yat chakshure sasavita sakala grahanam. Chakshur means the eye of the Lord. So Krishna consciousness means everything we see should remind us of Krishna. I go every morning for a walk, and as soon as I see the sun, I offer my respects. I recite this verse from Brahma Samhita. You are the eye of the Lord. Please accept my humble obeisances. By the mercy of Lord Govinda, you are filling the universe with heat and light, giving life to all creatures. So Prabhupada told us in one morning walk there in Venezuela, because this lawyer asked him, I see that in the pre-Hispanic culture, in the South America, there are some similarities with the Indian culture, ancient Indian culture. And he asked, why is that? Why is that? And Prabhupada said, previously, all the earth planet was following Vedic culture. Previously. In due time, they stopped. But there's still some remnant is there. Prabhupada said, India is like an elephant. Dead or alive is very valuable. If alive can work very hard. If dead, you can still use the, what do you call? The tusk. Very, very valuable also. So Prabhupada said, Vedic culture, India almost extinct, but still some traces are there. Therefore it is valuable. But still, he said, previously all the planet was following this Vedic culture. And he told us an amazing story. He told us that Lord Ramchandra went to Brazil through a tunnel underneath the ocean. Have you heard the story? we were amazed. Lord Ramachandra in Brazil. Prabhupada said, yes, through a tunnel. Ravana made a tunnel like 8,000 kilometers. Like 5,000 miles or something. So, and Prabhupada said that all the gold was coming to Sri Lanka from the mines in Brazil. That Ravana's brother, another brother, Mahir Ravana, was living in Brazil, his headquarters. So they were bringing gold through this tunnel. Of course, the Prabhupada told us that they took Lord Ramchandra, kidnapped Lord Ramchandra in his sleep to sacrifice in front of Goddess Kali. That was their intention. So they were worshipping in a cave, big Goddess Kali. So they asked Lord Ramchandra to bow down in front of the goddess. Lord Ramchandra said, I'm a prince, you have to show me, I don't know how to bow down. So all the asuras, they bowed down, and Lord Ramchandra took his sword and chopped off the heads. So, I wrote a book about Prabhupada's visit to South America. It's in Spanish, but I hope this year or next to publish in English. So I made some investigation and found out some interesting thing, that the story is in the Ramayana. I read it in the Ramayana, the story of the tunnel isn't there. But of course the name Brazil is not there, because at that time there was no such name. So I made a little investigation and found out that previously, before named Brazil, that country had a different name by the local people. And the name was Pindorama. The name Rama is there in the country. And Pindo is coming from Pinda, offering oblations to Lord Ram. Rama. Like we said, it's not Ramu, it's Rama. Prabhupada asked, who's this Ramu? He stopped Vishnujan Swami chanting, who's this Ramu? Because Maha Mantra is not something, it's somebody. You're addressing a person. So his name is not Ramu, it's Rama. Anyway, so, and there is an ancient town in the Amazon. We had ISKCON farm in the Amazon. To go there, you have to go by boat. There is no road. And there is an ancient town, abandoned town, very ancient town, and the name of the town is Hanuman. I mean, very ancient town. So, and in the Amazon in Venezuela, there is a big, huge mountain. And the name of the mountain is Meru. The name Meru is there. And this mountain has the highest waterfall in the world. And the name of the mountain where the water falls is huge. It's called Meru. How they knew this name, Meru? There's in the Vedas, celestial mountain called Meru. And I was last year in Mexico. I visited different places, devotees, preaching. So I came to know that National Geographic went there to Cancun, this area, to investigate things, and they found out a cave, water cave. It's a cave filled with water. It's very common in that area. Sweet water, not salty. People go swimming and things. But this cave was covered with a lot of foliage, and they could not see it, so they have to cut to see it. And when they entered the cave, they saw Sanskrit words on the wall. And they studied, it's 3,000 years old, was written 3,000 years old ago. 3,000 years ago. So they were surprised. This language is from India. How came here 3,000 years ago? Mm-hmm. So many things are there. Prabhupada looked at the map of the world because the Ramayana said the other side of the world. So he made a straight line from Sri Lanka and landed in Brazil. So Prabhupada's opinion was that place must be Brazil. And he was right. He was right because... So, I read the story in the Ramayana, very interesting pastime of the Lord, that when they were fighting the Asuras, Ravana and Sri Lanka, at night they will camp. So Hanuman will be guarding Lord Ramchandra. With his tail, he will make a fortress around Lord Ramchandra to sleep. And from time to time, all night he's awake. From time to time, he will move his tail to see if the Lord is sleeping peacefully. So this Ravana came underneath the earth and kidnapped Lord Ramchandra while he was sleeping. He took him away. But Hanuman, he was opening every half an hour. So when he opened, he didn't see the Lord. He saw a hole in the ground. So he followed the demons. And he was hiding behind the Kali statue. And when Ramachandra was chopping the heads of demons, he also helped him. He took another sword and was chopping also. Anyway, so we have to become Krishna conscious by hearing about Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, to develop or dormant Krishna consciousness, because it's there in the heart of every living entity. And it is possible for everyone, every human being, to develop this love of Godhead. Prabhupada told us in Venezuela, the seed is already there. You just have to water it down. Every day, hearing, chanting, remembering. And in this same life, and even in the material world, we can enjoy the fruits of that tree, which is Krishna Prem, love of Godhead. So it is there, dormant in the heart of every living entity. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema. In every heart there is the love for Krishna. Just need to be awakened. And this chanting of the holy name, the Mahamantra, has this power to clean the heart and the mind and to awaken the love for the Lord. So we have to understand how great is Krishna and how small and insignificant we are when we hear about everything is maintained by Him. Nothing is independent from Him. Prabhupada told us in one walk that Krishna consciousness is very simple. It's to understand that God is great and we are small. And the duty of the small is to serve the great. He gave an example, a servant of a king. He's a servant, but since he's serving the king, he also enjoys the good food, the good dress. He sees the dances and dramas and everything the king enjoy also, because he's serving the king. He get also facility. So in the same way, if we become servant of Krishna, nothing to lose, everything to gain. So 8 o'clock is Dharti, isn't it? So any questions? Any comments? Really? Okay. Let's see if anybody has any questions or comments. Yes, please ask. Okay, good.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So when you were talking about the blade of grass, it kind of reminded me of when Krishna was in Vrindavan and Indra sent the storms for like 7 days.
Yes.
And then Krishna held everyone under Govardhan hill, and then Indra came and later said to Krishna, "Oh, I was being very like proud." And
Yes, Krishna gave him a big lesson in humility.
yes.
He was thinking himself very powerful. He wanted to chastise the inhabitants of Vrindavan. But he's also a devotee of Krishna, but because he forgot. He thought, who is this childish Krishna advising not to worship me? Let me give them a lesson. Krishna first thought, I will destroy Indralok with Indra and everything. But then he thought, Indra is so insignificant. Maybe better I give him just a lesson in humility. So he decided to lift Govardhan Hill. And you know how he lifted? He went inside, but how? He went inside the cave in the Govardhan. And when he was at the middle, there was a small hill, quartz hill. He stood on it, and from there, he separated the mountain from its base by lifting it. So the question now is, it's good you remember the pastimes of Krishna. That this story of the blade of grass remind you of Krishna Lila. That's very nice. I forgot to tell you another thing they found in Mexico, in one cave. They found a sculpture on the wall, 2,000 years old. I saw the picture, and it shows a mountain with big snake around the mountain and two group of people pulling inside. And there is water beneath the mountain. How they knew this story 2,000 years ago in Mexico? This is in the Bhagavatam. Isn't? How they knew this? So there is proof that previously they knew, they had connection with the Vedic culture. There is ample proof of that. When Prabhupada went to Mexico, he said, Mexican looks like Indians. Because they have also their corn chapati. Many similar things. When Prabhupada arrived at the temple, he saw big arrangement with flowers. Welcome Srila Prabhupada, with flowers. Huh? Big wall with flowers. Prabhupada said, this art is from India. So, everything is connected.
Maharaj,
Yes.
I have a question. So how to always maintain the mood of humility and dependence on Krishna?
Trinadapi sunichena tararapi saishnuna manina manadena kirtanya sadahari. That's Lord Chaitanya's advice. One should feel humble than a blade of grass. One should feel more tolerant than a tree, giving respect to others, not expecting any respect for oneself. In that humble state of mind, one can always chant the holy name of the Lord. Once a devotee asked Prabhupada that same question, Prabhupada, I am very proud, how can I be humble? And Prabhupada answered, by being humble. I mean, we achieve things by doing them. And straw in the street, not a blade of grass. Why not blade of grass? Symbol of humility. Because if you step on the blade of grass, it lowers its head. But when you take your foot off, start to rise the head again. But the straw in the street is there. The wind blows to the right or the left, doesn't make opposition. In the same way, real humility is not to oppose the direction of the Lord, to obey the Lord. That's real humility. Humility is toward the Vaishnava and the Lord, not toward everyone. Toward everyone you show compassion. The ignorant you show compassion. To the Vaishnava you show humility. And to Krishna, of course. Yeah, we should understand, by the mercy of Krishna, we are able to do something. Unless He gives His sanction, we can't even move a finger. Paramatma is there. He gives permission, you can move the finger. If He doesn't give permission, you become paralyzed. So that's good enough to make us feel humble. I have no independent power. Only free will. Krishna has given free will. It's up to us how to use it. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that by my mercy, my grace, you can overcome all obstacles in the material life. But if you don't listen to me, you let yourself be led by false ego, you will be lost. So we have always to choose the right thing. To remember, Krishna is my only shelter, my only protector, my only provider, my best friend. He's my maintainer. That's symptom of Sharanagati, surrender. Unless we develop this mentality of surrendering, it's more difficult to make spiritual advancement.
So, Maharaj, how do we overcome an anxiety? Means anxiety from different issues, different problems, which comes with bothering in the mind, sometimes here, there, so many things. How do we basically, whether we can take appropriate actions or we forget about the anxiety or some problems or just remember Krishna, so sometimes may call escapism. So how do you say the anxiety can be overcome by a proper attitude and all?
Well, anxiety is there in the material world. Nobody is free from it. So, how to overcome anxiety? We have to develop anxiety for service of the Lord. There is material anxiety and a spiritual anxiety. The material anxiety brings suffering, and the spiritual anxiety brings bliss. So when we think I am the controller and things don't come out the way I want, I become very anxious. Therefore I suffer. We have to understand, men propose, God dispose. You do your best. And even if by doing your best, still things don't come out the way you want, then do your duty, but don't be attached to the result. That's what Krishna is teaching in Bhagavad Gita. You have right to perform your duty, but you have no right to enjoy the result. You offer that to me. Otherwise you will be entangled. Action, reaction, anxiety, failure, success. We become attached to the fruit of our action. It's a difficult thing to do because everybody is very attached to enjoy the result of their activities. Nobody works unless there is payment. Understand? So, in our daily life, jobs, family, everything, naturally some anxiety must be there. But we shall always remember what Krishna teaches in Bhagavad Gita, matras parshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkada agamapayino nityas tam titikshasva bharata. Impermanent appearance of happiness, distress is like winter and summer, they come and go. One shall tolerate without being disturbed. One may say, okay, I can't tolerate. Why we have to tolerate being happy? Okay to tolerate being sad or problem, but why we have to tolerate being happy? Because this is the duality. If you become attached to be materially happy, then suffering also will come. So that's the way we have to develop the understanding that nothing is permanent in this world. We suffer because we become attached to enjoy the result, what we're doing. We have the duty to do the best we can in our work or family, job, whatever. But we should leave the result to Krishna. And this way we will not be distressed when things doesn't come the way we want. Doesn't mean to be irresponsible or anything like that, but to always remember Krishna's teaching in Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Let me tell you one anecdote I have with Prabhupada. At the time of initiation, Prabhupada called me, and my name now is Bhakti Sundar Goswami. But Prabhupada at that time gave me the name Jagat Chakshur Das. And he explained the temple room was filled with more than 100 to 100 people. Devotees came from all over South America, Brazil, Argentina, everywhere, Mexico. So Prabhupada explained to the people the meaning of the name. He said, Jagat means the universe, and Chakshu means the eye. And he looked at me and said, and you are Das. So he explained to the people, Jagat means wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you must always remember that God's sight is on you. And then he turned to me, and while pointing his finger, he said, you cannot hide from the eyes of God. He said it like that, very, very grave. Everybody was looking at me. Maybe he did something wrong. And I thought, oh, Prabhupada can read minds, because the day before initiation, I went to the temple kitchen, nobody was there, so I stole Mahaprasad sweet, burfi, and was hiding, nobody's watching me, I was eating, 5 in the morning. So when Prabhupada said, you cannot hide, I felt I was caught. Next day after initiation, from first day I joined the movement, my service was book distribution. From day first. I came one evening, next morning I had a bag of books. That was the training. And did for many years this service. So, when I came next day from Sankirtan, I forgot that the temple president told us not to go down to our brahmachari ashram through the temple garden, because Prabhupada may be there in the garden, so not to be disturbed. We shall go to some other stair around. I forgot that, because I was doing every day, going down to the ashram through the garden. So I went down the garden, and suddenly I was face to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was sitting in a rocking chair in the garden, chanting. And immediately I paid my obeisance to him. And he saw me, but he didn't say anything. He ignored me completely. I didn't have an appointment with him or anything, just. So I paid my obeisance. I didn't know what to do, to leave, to stay, And Prabhupada didn't say a word. He just moved his hand like, what's up? What do you want? So very nervously I said, Prabhupada, I just came from distributing your books in the city. That softened him a little bit. He said, oh, and do Venezuelan people like my books? I said, oh, very much, Prabhupada. I became, relieved, Oh yes, Prabhupada, very much. They asked me for new titles, and they visit the temple, they became favorable to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada moved his head. He said, come with me. So he went to his room, I went behind him. And on the table, he had a tray with sweet for guests. So he took one sweet and he gave it to me. And he said, thank you for helping me. And I thought, Prabhupada's telling me, you don't need to steal the sweet, I give it to you. So that was unexpected mercy. Hare Krishna. Anyway, we distributed so many books. 1 year, 76, we won the worldwide marathon this December, Christmas marathon, all worldwide, even we defeated the Radha Damodar party. It was the biggest at that time. They have a float of buses all over America. And we tiny temple in South America. That year we defeated them. Prabhupada was happy, he sent a letter. He said, never before that happened. Even Radha Damodar himself is pleased that he is defeated by his devotee. Hare Krishna. Anyway, so thank you everyone for coming, and we continue the program.
Who translated the Prabhupada's books in Spanish?
Hridayananda Maharaj translated their class, the lectures.
All of the Bhagavad Gita and the...
No, you mean the books?
The books, yeah.
Different devotee. Viravaho Prabhu, he was involved at the beginning. Hridayananda Maharaj also was involved. There was a Spanish devotee in LA at that time. One thing I forgot to mention, when we went with Prabhupada to the airport, he was leaving the country, that same day, the first Bhagavatam translated in Spanish arrived at the airport. Now, there are two airports, one for cargo airport. So two brahmacharis went to try to get the books out to give one Bhagavatam in Spanish to Prabhupada. So they were getting late and Prabhupada had to go. So Prabhupada went through immigration, everything. And after 10 minutes, they came running with one book. They allowed them one sample only. So Yanda Maharaj took the book and ran inside without ticket, without passport. He ran inside. They didn't see him. He went where Prabhupada was sitting, waiting to be called, and he showed him the book. And he asked him translate back to English to see if it is correct. So he translated Prabhupada like he said, "It's good, very nice." So Prabhupada left with this book in his hand. Thank you. Hare Krishna. We were having kirtan at the airport. Prabhupada didn't have breakfast because we left early. So at the airport, devotees offered him a tray with fruits. So Prabhupada took little fruits. And then he asked, you distribute, to the devotees. One devotee was playing mridanga. Prabhupada said, you save something for him. Prabhupada was very much caring for devotees, Things we don't notice, he will notice. Once he went to New Vrindavan, winter time, and he saw one devotee girl without sweater. So he called the temple president, why she doesn't have sweater? Well, Prabhupada, she doesn't ask for. Prabhupada said, no, you don't wait for her to ask. You shall give. If you see, you must help. Don't wait to be asked. Hare Krishna. So, and then it was a lot of fruits, so what they were giving to the to the passerby, and they were receiving in their hand without cup or plate or anything, just in their hand. They will take and eat it. Then next year, we went to New York to see Prabhupada in the Ratha Yatra Festival. First New York Ratha Yatra Festival. And many wonderful things happen also there. So, when we offer chamara to the Lord, means we are offering the wind. We are accepting, everything is your property. The wind is your property, the fire is your property, the earth which gives flower is your property. Everything. The water, everything coming from the Lord. And you know how enhanced the perfume of the earth. Once Krishna was running in Vrindavan and his chadar fell to the ground. Immediately Mother Earth absorbed all the sweetness of Krishna's scent and she spread it through all the flowers and all plants like that. They became enhanced. So everything is coming from Krishna. In the Vedas, it is advised when you wake up in the morning, you should offer respect to Bhumi Devi, Mother Earth. There is a mantra and everything. I do it. Although it's not, part of our sadhana to say so, but it's in the Vedas, it's all right. And the mantra said, How it is the mantra? Anybody remember? Samudra Vasane Devi Parvatastana Mandite Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Padasparsa Samaswame. Oh dear Mother Earth, you are surrounded by beautiful mountains and oceans, and you are the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu. Please forgive me for stepping on you on this day. And you get out of bed with the right foot, not the left, the right. That's in the Vedas. Vedas full of, instruction, how to respect everything. Everything is related to the Lord. The sun, the moon, the earth, everything. We shall see as energy of the Lord, as servants of the Lord. Bhumi Devi was married to Lord Varahadev. So she is consort of the Lord. They had a son. And at the beginning, the son was very nice, very religious. He was instructed by Varahadev. But then he fell in bad association with Mayadanava and became polluted. He became Bhaumasura. He kidnapped the 16,100 princesses. Krishna has to come to kill his own son because he became Asura, to free his devotees. Just see how impartial is Krishna. If his own son become demon, he has to protect his devotees by killing him, he will do. If an Asura become devotee, he will give protection. There is a nectar of devotion, one Asura saying, I don't fear Lord Krishna. If he comes to kill me, I just surrender unto his lotus feet, he will spare me. He will give me protection. Very smart demon. All right. Any last comment or question? Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. So we'll just do the nursing prayer.
Yes.
And if you can lead the nursing prayer, then
Sure.
after that we'll show the... Thank you.
But you must repeat the Nrsimha prayer the way I do.
Sure.
Because it's not everything Nrsimha. There is Nrsimha and there is Nrsimha. And it's not Bahir, it's Bahir. Bahir means outside. Bahir Nrsimha, Hridaya Nrsimha. Bahir is not Sanskrit word. Somebody mispronounced at the beginning of the movement and stuck like that. Okay? So it's ito Nrsimha para to Nrsimho. Yato yamitato Nrsimha. Bahir Nrsimho, Hridaya Nrsimho. Okay? I hear Prabhupada tape. He taught the devotees in LA the mantra. He pronounced exactly as it is written. But, okay. The different mantras are there, but Tavarakaram, Namaste Narasimhaya is there at the beginning. So let us chant. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada Lada Dayayane. Hiranyakashipur Bhakshaha. Shilatanka Nakalaye. Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimho. Yato yamitato Nrsimha. Bahir Nrsimho, Hridaye Nrsimho. Nrisingham Adim Sharanam Prapadye. Tabakara Kamalavare Nakam Adhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tano Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Bhakti Vigna Vinasha Nrsingadev Bhagavan ki, Bhakta Shiromani Prahlad Maharaj ki. Nitai Gaur Premanandi.